Hi everyone, this is Xander Breach, and this is my weight loss journey, part 12. If you made it this far into the story, I'm just going to be real with you right now. Watch the warning video before you watch this video. If you have not watched the warning video, turn this video off immediately and watch it. Because as a parent, you should know what your kids are watching and you should be informed. Another thing, if you have watched the warning video, sit back, relax, enjoy the story. Now on with the story. Where we last left off in part 11, I think it was the fact that I was finding out that I was going to go to Texas with my adoptive dad and stepmom. And I got grounded, and during that time of being grounded, I had to pack up my bags to get ready for Texas. So packing up my bags, I said, I would say I did an awesome job. Adoptive dad didn't stay on my case for it. I didn't get yelled at, and frankly, I wasn't in the mood to really waste any time. We were leaving. I wanted to be sure I was ready. Not realizing I may have forgot a few things, which later I was going to pay for with yelling and put downs. Typical, right? You made this far, you know I do not like dealing with a military man. Unfortunately, I had no other choice. So it's maybe a couple days before my 20th birthday. It was September 1st. And we are basically now making the drive to Texas. May I remind you, we could have used a plane, we could have used something else, but we were literally moving there. We were going to live there. So, as I'm getting into finding out which car I'm going to be riding in, I thank my lucky stars I will not be riding with my adoptive dad. My step-grandfather was riding with him. I was riding with my stepmother. And I was actually happy about that because my stepmother wouldn't be jumping my case all the time. And we'd get into good conversation, and at least I thank God my adoptive dad took the liberty of making sure I didn't ride with him, because I think in his terms we would have aggravated each other, and I'd have to agree with him, we would have. So on a positive note, at least something was done right there, and was done correctly, so I was happy about that. So I get in the car, I got my stuff in there, we're all packed, we're ready to go. It's a little windy outside, not too windy. The morning was just starting off, and we get to driving there. While as we're driving there, I'm talking with my stepmom. And my stepmom's asking me what I want for my birthday, and I write it down. I told her I wanted the new Fantastic Four movie, which is the 2005 version, I may add. It wasn't the one y'all are thinking that came out years later, but it was the 2005 version. And I've been wanting to see it for a while because I'm a huge comic book fan, for one, and it being the year 2006, the movie was already out on DVD. So with that said, you know, we're just driving to the Texas, and as we're driving, I remember we had to make a stop for gas. My adoptive dad found out I wasn't pumping gas. He was mad, angry, furious. He's like, "Why are you not pumping gas? You should be pumping gas. Get out of the car and start pumping gas." I'm like, she didn't need my help, because my stepmom told me she did not need my help at all. And I was thinking, oh God, here it goes again. the man is jumping my case. Just when you think you get an easy ride all the way to Texas, he jumps my case. Ugh. Annoying. I know. So we continue heading to Texas. It took a while, like hours before we got out of Florida. But every time I didn't get out of that car to pump gas, he was jumping my case. We went from state to state going to Texas. I mean, we saw many different states. We went from Alabama, I think, and a whole bunch of other ones. And adoptive dad was just so annoyed with me that I didn't help out. He couldn't shut his mouth. We ate something, or we had snacks, but that's what it is. You have a father who just can't seem to shut his mouth, even when you're heading to Texas. And it annoyed me. One time I actually thought I saw my biological father as I'm looking out the window pointing at me. And I told my stepmom about it. She said, yeah, nothing to worry about. I was surprised. Didn't tell that to my adoptive dad. He would have had a few unpleasant things to say. So what happened is from all the driving that was going on in all the states we passed, we finally make a pit stop to get into a motel. When we got to the motel, I don't really know what state we were in. I know it began with an M. So we get out of the car, we get some stuff. You know, the place had maybe a two bedroom kind of deal, and my adoptive dad had it to where him and my stepmom slept on the bed, and I, on the other hand, I slept on the floor with my step-grandfather sleeping on a bed. Frankly, I didn't care about sleeping on the floor. Plus, I got my own TV, so I was like, heck yeah. And from there, I remember my adoptive dad saying that I need to help my stepmom get the food for dinner that night. I did. We went to Taco Bell, bought some food, and when we did, I went and helped out. So helping my stepmom out was nice, you know. I didn't have any problems. I didn't, have to deal with anything. And with me helping out, it stayed at a point where my adoptive dad couldn't get on my case for not helping out. I carried the food home. I was good. My adoptive dad let me have dinner that night, and everything went golden. For the rest of the night, he stayed off my case. I was happy about that. By the next morning, we all get up early, and we had to head out. Driving a little longer to Texas, and this time there was no stopping at a motel. We drove all the way there. And as usual, I didn't get out to pump gas. He's on my case again. I can tell you one thing. We got to Texas, and all I can think about during that time is that I found out my great uncle David lives close to where we're going to be staying, and we had a field full of cotton that literally grew. Like a field. Lucky for me, I wouldn't have to pick that cotton. Some people came and got it. But when I went into the house, I realized later that I would have to help unpack, get settled in, the whole 9 yards. I didn't mind. I was happy about that. And from there, you know, getting settled in would be fun, but it also would be a challenge because a military man like my adoptive dad was going to be having a good old time jumping my case. And I'll tell you one thing. Keep in mind, for the next upcoming parts, things are about to get more and more intense. And y'all are going to learn what I had to go through in Texas. Some of y'all already know, I'll be mentioning my first relationship, but what y'all don't know is what happened before my first relationship took place. Prepare yourself. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Now that you know I made it to Texas in the story, I'm going to end this by saying God bless you. Bye-bye. Y'all take care.